Hey, Mr. Music, sure sounds good to me. I can't refuse it. What to be's got to be. Feel like dancing, dance cause we are free. Hey, 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 hey. I got my home in the promised land. It feels like home. Hope you understand. Na 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 na. Ooh, hey. And though the road is rocky, sure feels good to me. And if we're lucky, together we'll always be. Highway riding, highway riding, highway riding. The moon is rising, the moon is rising, the sun is rising. Rainbow country, rainbow country, yeah. Rainbow country, rainbow country, yeah. Oh. Hey, Mr. Music, sure sounds good to me. I can't refuse it. What to be's got to be. Feel like dancing, dance cause we are free. Feel like dancing, come dance with me. I got my home in the promised land. It feels like home. Hope you understand. Oh. Hey, Mr. Music, sure sounds good to me. I can't refuse it. What to be's got to be. Feel like dancing, dance cause we are free. Hey, 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 hey. I got my home in the promised land. Like home, hope you understand. I got my home in the promised land. It feels like home. Hope you understand. Na 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 na. Oh. Oh. Hey, Mr. Music, sure sounds good to me. Hey, Mr. Music, sure sounds good to me. I can't refuse it. What to be's got to be. Feel like dancing, dance cause we are free. Hey, 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 hey. I got my home in the promised land. It feels like home. Hope you understand. Na 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 na. Ooh, na 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 na. Sure feels good to me. And if we're
watch what them a chat. Can't hurt what we got. Simplicity, your love, make it wicked and hot. Well, love been through the storm, blew off the rooftop. But this a love strong like you sing on the track. I'm here for you, my darling, my darling. Remember when I told you, my darling, that you're gonna need me. Hey. Ooh, yeah.
I'm loving you more every day. I can't stop now. I've been loving you more tomorrow. I can't stop now. Said I'm loving you more every day. Can't stop now. I've been loving you more tomorrow. Can't stop me now. Ooh, yeah. Girl, you give me your love, I me cherish it a lot. So when you feel like it, I go drop me, just take it to the top. We never look back. I tell you this, I love you now, it never ever flop. Tick a tock, me tell you non-stop. And a battery clock, it is a solar clock. It's there in the morning, and it is there in the evening. It's there when you're dreaming. I tell you this, I love it, it's the Rocky 19. Girl, I love you more every day. Can't stop now. I'll be loving you more tomorrow. Can't stop now. I'll be loving you more every day. Can't stop now. Loving you more tomorrow. Can't stop now. Ooh, yeah. Ah, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer. Hey, you know we've got to find a way to bring some love here today. Picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? Right on, baby. Mother, So, yeah, thanks for coming. My name is Cian. I'm a songwriter predominantly, and I produce on Ableton, and I play, I play live a lot. So what I'm going to show today is, for the first half, is my live performance, what I would have been doing at the Christiania Dub Club gig. And for the second half, I wanted to show how I approach making a song from scratch and songwriting and stuff. So, yeah, so I'm going to start off with the live performance, setup. So what I'm using is Ableton to trigger clips that I would have from my last album, which was all live musicians. So from the producer, I've got in channel 1, I've got the drums.
Yo, you man, come here now.
So channel 1, I got the drums. You'll see here. So we got the drums kind of on channel 1, which I'm controlling with the APC 40 controller. So you got your fader for the levels. And for my sends, for my effects, in 1 I've got send A, I've got reverb. Send 2, I've got a delay. Send 3, I've got a phaser. So you get that nice kind of sweeping EQ kind of sweep on the highs. And then I've also got a filter on the master, which I use as like just on overall everything. So if you want to cut the bass and play with the filter a little bit, you got that kind of style. And then if you just want to cut out the bass, which is great for live music, if you want to sing on top, you just want to take all the high frequencies out, so you just got a kind of bass line to kind of sing over. So that's what I like to do with the filter. It was like, when I play live, I usually use one of the Pioneer mixers, which has got a nice filter in it. So I would go into that and then use that filter. But this is a way of, if I do a gig and they don't have a mixer, and I can just go straight in from the sound card into the front of house mixer, and then you can still have that effect, that fit. So that's why I've got that. Call it the Pioneer filter there. I got it kind of set up like that. And then, so that's that. So then, channel 2.
You lose friends.
We got the vocal.
Argument so intense. You start trouble under false
or the reverb and delay.
You see red and you can't see sense. Unstable under defense. Blind pride.
So on the cross, I've set the crossfader, I've MIDI mapped it to the feedback of the delay, which is, I'm using Ableton's built-in delay for this. So it's a ping-pong delay. I've taken off some of the highs with an EQ, and then I've set the feedback of that to the fader there, because it's just really nice and handy. You've got that crossfader, so you can really, really add a long delay. So let's try that with it. So then channel 3, I've got the keys, the guitar, the kind of rhythm, all the bubbles. There's a Hammond organ. I think there's a normal piano in there, and then there's the guitar as well. So, but those are all together in channel 3. So if we put the delay on that, and then if we turn up full, with the feedback, we can have those really long delays to carry out. So, take the reverb off the drums, some phaser on the drums, vocal, delay. Keys, so that's our first 3. Then on the 4th, we have the brass section.
fifth, we got the bass. And I think I've got the BVs. I got backing vocals on 6 and 7, I think. So for the live show, how I'd start that off would be...
Yo, you man, come here now. I got to talk to you.
Microphone's on,
Every time
okay.
you say there's some trouble and thing and police are coming in. Benjamin, cool down the temper higher.
Brass section. Reasonable, listen, be reasonable. Be reasonable, listen, be reasonable. Live in Copenhagen, we reasonable. I said we reasonable. Winter time 2017, we reasonable. Lovers of music said we reasonable. Be reasonable. Whoa, wait. Relax your mind, don't lose your cool and calm. Stand solid in the eye of the storm. The road's rough and the journey's long. So think forward and make a plan. Hey, temper, where'd you get it from? Resentment and you feel it strong, said. So strong that you miss all the fun. Be honest with yourself and you can't go wrong, be.
Reason, me and me people are reason, no. Cian Finn and last one, now we are reason, no. So in the winter, spring and summer and the autumn, we are gonna do this in the fall season. So come down people, you have to stand up strong. Yeah, to the bitter fight, this a man.
Oh, not sure what happened there. Oh, recording stopped. I think we're gonna crash.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Cool, let me just get off. Disconnect. So what I've also got on the drums there, I've got this auto filter that what I've assigned to here. So when you turn it on, the filter turns on, and then when you tilt it back, it switches itself off automatically. So then you can have that, the drum effect. There we go.
I think the sound card dropped out.
Oh, the sound card dropped out. Okay, okay. Oh yes, yeah, well spotted. HDMI in and out.
Maybe it was too much with it recording at the same time. I'll try to take it in and out. You can find it again. Cian's running off of one of our sound cards.
So you can see that you've got the ability to, so every time you play it, it's going to be something unique, you're working with vocal, keys, filters. You just want to bring it down to the bass, have your low bass. Yeah, and then you're always just kind of keeping an eye on your feedback, because if you let it run too long, it starts to distort and kind of freak out a little bit. So that's the basic setup for the live show. So I kind of do a live dub mix of the album for, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have like five tunes for the Christania, for the dub club gig. Sometimes I'd have a few more from the album. And yeah, just start off with the live dub mix, which is nice and mellow. So when you begin the show, it's like a nice, gentle kind of intro, and then I move into a more kind of heavier, more up-tempo songs for the second part. And I'll give you an example of that. So let me see. So here's a pre-release tune I've done with the Mungos Hi-Fi guys from Glasgow. There we go. Yeah, so this is a traditional Irish song, and we recorded the vocal over, I think I think this was one of King Tubby, an old King Tubby rhythm on Jamaican. So they've redone the music and put the vocal down when I was traveling over there doing some shows with the guys. So what I've done with this is the trick I learned from a great producer from India called Sig Flip, and I'm doing some music with him at the moment. And he was showing me what he does for his live show. So he set these markers in Ableton. So you warp it, and then you got the complex on here, so it's a nice clean sound. And then you set the markers at different parts of the track, like what Tractor will kind of do, but a manual version. And then cue points, exactly, yeah. So then if you want to mix another tune in, we got the Chronics version here. So I bring the fader down, cut the bass off. I've got the bass assigned here, one of the pads. And then you can bring your tune kind of gently in. And then you can switch basses.
I will build my love about by unclean and crystal fountain. And I beg you daily to season still you keep flowers of the mountain.
And then again with the filter, you can fade off the last tune, and so you got that nice. You can transition nicely from one track into the next. And
it seems like you is a
news carrying dread.
So I ain't carrying on. Same old that chatter with me will chatter of me more murder rap begin for.
And maybe add some delay onto that. And then flip the bass. You want to go bum? You try your team. So you can transition nicely into one track to the next in the Ableton kind of setup. So sometimes I'd use the like standard DJ, the Pioneer kind of setup with the USB sticks. But this is a nice way to kind of keep it all into one thing. And sometimes you're playing gigs where they don't have that setup. So.
Fire contagious, of all ages, blood I run red and outrageous. See, policeman I act rapid and drastic. Town I run red on the day I St. Patrick.
Yeah.
Shamrock, jamrock. Shamrock, jamrock. Shamrock, jamrock. Shamrock, jamrock. Shamrock, jamrock. Shamrock, jamrock.
Shamrock, jamrock.
Red Squad make the bass drop. Hey.
Tribe called Red Tune. Yeah. So I've everything set, like all the tracks I'll be using here are in like 140 BPM, so it's in that kind of range, so it's good. Like if you wanted to kind of mix some tunes that way that are from a higher tempo, you need to actually manually, you know, you can raise the tempo and bring it up. Yeah, so that's how I would approach the DJ mix inside of it with this setup.
back and forth? Like if you need to transition, like
If
now.
only if they're like a, well, see, I'd never plan I wouldn't really plan shows out so much. I'd normally have like everything there, so I would kind of, you check out the crowd, see what the vibe is, and then you'd know whether you're going to go for really heavy stuff, more mellow. So that I have most of my music collection kind of in there, and then I'd kind of go, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, it's this kind of, it's this kind of energy. So you've got that, So I wouldn't, because sometimes if you're prepared set, it's just not fun that way, and also you never know if it's going to fit the, it's totally relative to what the crowd are, what the crowd that comes in on the night. So then say for that one, I went for that mix, but then that one's on the same channel, so I just drag it over. Yeah, let's load this. Searching for my Rizla.
No, you're asking me to go Rasta. But I don't know what you're talking about, so beg your pardon, Mr. Officer.
So when we're in that kind of, so we start with the live dub for the gig, so you've got that multi-track kind of, it's really fun to play with, and it's always different, so it's really nice. You can really make use of the Akai with, you've got your 8 faders. You can always change your set as well, and because it's in Ableton, you can slightly change your set every gig and then save it, and you've got that. It's always evolving. It's not a set. It's kind of like a virtual piece of equipment that you can always keep kind of tweaking as your set changes through the time. And yeah, so for the filter's great for when you're doing the kind of selection style. If you want to sing over, it'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Don't speak to me, cause I was saved here by the beast.
And then, come again?
Show your vocal channel.
Oh yeah, so the vocal channel is like, the vocal channel, normally I go into a Pioneer mixer, or I'd go into a Chaos Pad 3 if it's going to go straight into the house. So the vocal channel is just kind of set up for this, for the workshop kind of scenario. So what I've got here, just taken off the bass, I've taken a little dip there, and I've put on a bit of glue compression to just give it a bit of, just a makeshift thing for the gig.
So you let the sound man treat your vocal, and he gives you delay and reverb.
No, I would control my own. If I went straight to the desk, the sound guys, just maybe a little bit of a reverb and an EQ, and then I controlled the delays with the Chaos Pad. Yeah, so it's really nice you can kind of tap the hold button and just get these really nice cut delays from that.
Yeah.
And then if I go into the Pioneer mixer, I just EQ off the bass with the EQ on it, and then you've got there's a nice delay in the Pioneer mixer. There's a nice control for that. So it's kind of fun with the Pioneer mixer. You've got the filter for the channel, and then the delay. So this will go directly into one channel, or else you can put it through I've got that Tractor sound card, so you can go into 2 channels and have it like a DJ setup. So then you can actually EQ and mix on the Pioneer mixer that way. So there's those options for that. So I always try to come prepared with 2 or 3 different options for the show, because sometimes you turn up and then something's not there from the equipment, or you're in a situation where it's a fun time to play, but there just isn't there isn't the equipment is limited. So if you have this setup, you can just go 2 jacks from the sound card straight into the house mixer, and it's brilliant, so that's kind of the live setup. So I might just do a live dub and just give you an example. So here we go. Stop all clips. And intro. Let's go for Come Away.
Motivate you by greed, by what their televisions tell them that they need.
Phaser on the drums there.
By what the televisions tell them that they need in an attempt to escape the harsh realities, carrying heavy loads with hearts empty. So many people searching for release, running the rat race, cooped up in our cities where there's no comfort to be found on the concrete streets. Frustration peaks under Babylon heat. Come away.
Yeah, so you get the gist. Yeah, so it's really fun to play with because, you know, you can just jam it out and it's different every time and you're singing over the top of it. So it's just that, yeah, it's just a really pleasant process for the beginning of the gig. And because it's kind of quite mellow, then by the time you get into, you know, when you're getting into tunes like, you get into some kind of heavy dubs then, like, say the Winter Blues, the Alpha Step lyrics.
Rain falls on the concrete and flows through the gutters, back streets and tar roads. Wind blows hard and cold through my clothes, through the flesh, through the bone.
You know, so it goes from a mellow thing into much more kind of heavier stuff. So as the journey for the show goes, it's, you know, nice gentle intro and then, you know, it's really heavy bass, kind of high energy steppers. So that's the, yeah. But yeah, and this is a siren a friend made called Eitel Youth from Poland. And he made me a custom built siren a few years ago, so it's really nice. Siren's really fun to play with as well. Your pitch, your rate, the speed. It's just the straight. Let me show you. So the stems are basically just straight from the studio, left and right. So let's see. We got the.
What are those like crooked lines? Like you have some places called brass. There's like a white and a green one.
Oh yes, so that's if you group anything in Ableton, so that's a group. So they would have been 2 channels, the left and right. So it's stereo, and then you group them, and when you open them, it's like that. When you close them, so then when you click your play here, it triggers the 2 at the same time. You know, kind of like the triggers at the end here. Okay. So that I suppose the lines are just to let you know that that's a group.
Yeah.
You're not triggering just one. You're not triggering a clip. You're triggering a group of clips. Yeah.
So that could be like drums and vocals at the same time, and then only that if you group those.
If you group, exactly. Yeah. It'll trigger whatever you group inside that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then inside here you've got basically that's just straight from Prince Fatty's studio. So he was running through like really nice old analog vintage equipment. So then, it sounds great coming out of that. You know, it's a little bit lower in level than the other tracks, but it's great for the start of the gig. And if you might have boosted a little bit more for the show, then when you go into the heavier stuff, maybe bring it down a bit. The master tracks are, they have that extra, the kick, the extra woomph.
Are they all mastered?
No, the stems aren't mastered. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have anything on your master channels?
No, I don't, because I go straight from that into the DJ thing. I usually just kind of boost it a little bit, but because you're starting, it just kind of works for the live thing. Yeah. So I just might boost it a little bit more, boost the gain, and then bring it back down for the heavier bass, or not. Maybe it's the space fills up with more people then, and it needs that extra kind of a little bit of a boost.
Yeah.
So that's the. So there you got your files. You got the brass. There's the horns, your bass, it's mono.
And then everything unwarped.
And everything unwarped for the live, because you're just playing it straight. And so he would have rendered it out from Pro Tools, in 8 different tracks. So I just got the 8, the separation. So you've got drums in one, vocal in the other. The skank, what we're listening to now, is. You can hear the guitar. There's a plucking guitar as well, so it's all guitar, piano, and then, yes.
Is that something you play and record into, or do you like draw it in the program?
Say this again.
The guitar.
Oh no, so the first part of the show is the live dub is all live musicians recorded.
Okay, yeah.
So everything. So the album this is from was just it's all live musicians. So I've just got the separated tracks from the studio file. So then you can just manipulate those files on the fly live, and each fader is mapped to the APC40. So then you can control each one. So then when you do the live mix, you can add your effects. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, because I need to close these. And then you've got that kind of... Yeah. Yeah, so that's the live dub into the kind of DJ kind of mix style. So that's kind of how I do the live show, and then singing live vocals over the top and improvising a little bit, and then this dub siren's really, really nice. So you've got. So I'm running this into a channel through the sound card, and I've added a little bit of phaser, a lot of phaser, and a little bit of delay. So then again, I can control that delay with the the feedback. So if you want that delay one, or if it's just going on too long, you just bring it down and it cuts it off. So, yeah, and delay it.
What's the main purpose of the dub siren?
The dub siren for me, it's kind of like, it's like nearly for build-ups and things, It's this kind of, it's a signal where you kind of, there's, it just might be in between the tracks if there's a gap, or, just before a bass is going to drop down, or, like you would have the kind of, those kind of sweeping kind of build-ups in it that you'd hear produced in tunes. It's like the risers. Yeah. It's kind of like a manual riser in a way that's how I would kind of use it anyways and see it. And it's like, yeah, so I mean, from going to sound system gigs, you always kind of hear this kind of police siren effects and stuff, and you have that. So that for that effect is like, it's your general police siren effect, so that's what your rate. And yeah, there's actually a built-in delay in this also, which is really cool, from Idle Youth. So yeah, so with the dub siren, it's like. So you can get these nice kind of, laser effects. Also with this one, you can kind of play melody on as well, so. Let me play a tune. There we go. Drop this one, we play this on the Christine gig. So again, I've got the bass. So I got the basses mapped here. So for mixing, you can just cut off the bass of one tune and drop it in the other. So it's really nice. It's really handy. So yeah. So like some, start a slow kind of delay, and like a riser, slowly building. Great toy for playing live, So yeah, that's the live setup really. Dub siren, vocal mic through an effects unit for delays. Using three effects for the live dub in Ableton. Reverb on send A, delay on send B, phaser on C, and then I've kind of got a filter set up here just so. So if you kind of want, you're in a tune, you want to cut off all the highs, and you've just got that sub bass, and then you can sing over that, or it's that kind of nice. It's great for the sound system gigs, that effect where you cut off all the mids and highs. So that's my kind of mapping to kind of give that effect. And no, I've just got that set on the master at the moment. Okay. Yeah, because the mic would always be not going into Ableton, so then. Yeah, it's just for cutting off, and then you're singing over the top of it, and you got the dub siren. And yes. Anything else I can think for this setup? Any questions? Oh yeah. Any questions?
It's more about the original music you use. Where did you record it?
Okay, so
Something different.
yeah, let me show you this. Anything goes, big time. Oh yes. Okay, so yeah, that's the live setup, and then so I use Ableton for for playing live and also for producing. So the first stuff you're hearing is all live musicians. So that was a different, that was an album I wanted to do, 1970s Jamaican music. It was kind of music that really inspired me when I was younger. So I really was like wanted to make an album that was, that style of album. And I met this amazing producer, Prince Fadi, at a festival in Poland. And, he makes this stuff, which is incredible. He's got all the old vintage equipment. So yeah, it's incredible. And the experience making the album was, really inspiring as well. So I really loved, it was a dream come true to get to make a record like that. So that's the production of the acoustic album. But the majority, so for the DJ set, what I'm playing is a mixture of, unreleased tunes that I've done with different producers in the sound system scene, and released ones also. Like I got the Dub Dynasty 9 Years, Radical Guru Ireland. I got some unreleased stuff. I got Jackie Mitu, which is a beautiful 1970s kind of Jamaican reggae, and that's still in that kind of range. So production-wise, I'm playing a mixture of my own stuff I would have produced with, I would have voiced for other producers, and then I would use Ableton for producing myself. So that's where we're going to go from here into my production thing. So yeah,
There was a question from the live stream.
Oh cool, yeah.
Like whether you prefer Push 2 or the APC 40.
Oh, Push 2, well, two different things. I've just started working on Push the last year. Got a Push last year, so I'm still learning about it. But the Push is another world. Like the APC 40s, it's a MIDI. It's a great MIDI controller. You're just controlling it's great for controlling because you got the faders, so it's perfect for the live dub kind of thing. But then the Push 2 is like, it's like a synthesizer that you can. Customable synthesizer, it's just once you're familiar with how Ableton works, the Push 2 just opens up everything. So I have it, I'd like to use the Push 2 live in the future, but I'd be more to use it like a synth live, because you got your pitch bend, so you can actually play chords, you can do finger drumming. You can do the same as the APC 40, triggering all the clips, but you don't have the faders. I'm sure there's some workarounds around that, but just for to just have the ability to to be able to just cut things out. You've just
Trouble bubble in a jungle, yeah. Trouble bubble in a concrete jungle.
You couldn't do that on a Push, You've just got that ability to get the chopped out kind of delay. And I suppose that's the joy of it. Shouldn't be doing. Oh yeah, because I've opened that up. Yeah, so that's your kind of difference between the. Yeah, so I'd like to, I'm learning the saxophone at the moment, so I'm kind of playing that over a few tunes. So for my live show, I'd like to have the live dub setup, also using some analog delays as well, using an analog delay. You could just run that through as an external send for Ableton, and then I'd like to have the Push on the side. you know, for finger drumming and for triggering things, and just to use it more of a live instrument. So yeah, I'd say push 2 live instrument thing for me for live, and this is the controller for the dubbing and stuff like that. Yeah, so that answers the live stream question. Yeah, so on production, so my own production stuff, I'll play a quick sample of. I'm doing a project called Cian Maya at the moment, and it's all self-produced stuff I've been working on for the last few years. Recording different singers, and so let's see, I've got a few of the tunes here just to give you an example. And yeah, so for, you know, the idea for the workshop was that the first half would be how I do the live set, and then move into how I would approach making music and writing and stuff like that. So does that all make sense? Is there any questions, or anyone have any queries? All good? Cool. Okay, so I'll just play one of the stuff I've been for the Cian Maya project, the self-produced stuff. Let me see. Rhythm and Rhyme is the nice one. Yeah, so there's that one. Here's a more kind of dubby one. Yeah, this one I was doing a gig in Poland, Radical Guru, when we were traveling to this festival called the Struda, and then yeah, so this was made in the car with just with a pair of headphones into Ableton, into the laptop, you know, just the basic kind of setup that you can have. So for the workshop on production, I wanted to kind of just work with, you know, if you had a laptop, a pair of headphones, that's all you've got, how to kind of make a tune. So you don't need a synth, you don't need all the plugins, something just a basic kind of thing. Because it's so practical, you can just do that. You travel on a bus or, you know. Cool. So yeah, that's the first part of the workshop. Hope that's good. Yeah. Is there a certain interest that anyone has, or are you all working with inside Ableton or any different programs? Or what's your personal interest in like music production or anything like that? Just I have a.
I've only Ableton like here. I'm just like a.
Okay, so
but,
is everyone Ableton users?
No, yes, also
The
started
newbies.
now with Erasmus.
Okay, so you're just begin.
We just
Yeah.
began
Oh,
just
brilliant!
rookies.
And it's all in Ableton.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Well, this
And
is
with the
perfect.
push.
So, and with the push, fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. That's a great way to start learning. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so yeah, that's the live setup, and let's go to a new live set. Just straight. Oh yeah, one other thing was just interesting. I was in Kenya a few weeks ago, and these amazing singers over there. We did a studio session with some amazing local singers, but there was no proper microphone, and
Where was it?
in Mombasa, near Mombasa, a place called Kilifi.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
Kenya?
Yeah, east coast of Kenya. Yeah, so I was over there for 2 shows, and yeah, the promoter organised to go into the studio with some local singers, and this is the Shure Super 55 mic. So I use this for the live, and the quality's really nice off it. So we went to the studio session. So I ended up, recording these singers just with this microphone. So the whole setup was like, bass and not an breaking all the rules, non-soundproofed room. There was no even power. I just had that was charged up, sound card into the microphone into the sound card, and the guys are listening on a kind of rough pair of headphones, and then it was plugged into like one speaker from an old stereo that had like one broken speaker, so you couldn't have a more basic setup, but the results were brilliant. I mean, it was and I think for me a big thing was when I started to work with with studio stuff and music equipment. There was this whole, I always felt like, oh, you need this equipment to do that, and you need this type of, you always need, and then someone's someone's showing you this music, like, how'd you get that bass sound? They're like, oh yeah, I use this plug-in, and so you're like, oh well, I need that plug-in if I'm gonna get a good, there was this kind of arms race for equipment to be like, what, you need this to do something, where it's really just you just need to have the drive, the passion and the drive to kind of do it, But I'll play you the song because it's really nice. It's just a rough mix while I was over there, and this is there you go.
Bright sunshiny day in a Kilifi city. I am feeling irate in a Kilifi city. It's a bright sunshiny day.
But it sounds great, right? The vocal sounds really like you imagine the setup that it came from, and
got no worries on my mind, you say in a Kilifi city.
In the city, pressure, hey. Said in the city, pressure, hey.
yeah, Kula Bula.
What is the name of the singer?
I don't want to get it wrong to say it now.
The guy sings come from Kenya.
What's his name?
Let's see, I think his last name is Lavosti.
That's Lagosti, yeah, that's Lagosti, yeah. Small world. He's an amazing singer.
Tanzania.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow.
I got him right here on Facebook.
Cool,
Yeah.
man. Well, tell him. Say hi for me.
Totally crazy. That's totally crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Lavosti, incredible singer.
He's totally incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta send him
I
a picture.
just 3 days ago, I got a message at your little movie about Rastafari, and he told me everything.
Okay.
For the kids I have in school and like that.
Brilliant. Small world.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's Lavosti, all right.
What the?
Yeah, we did a few tunes. I'll show you another one we did actually while we're there. It's beautiful. Let me see. I just did a rough render of this.
Cian.
Yes. Oh! Brilliant. Small world. Small world, that's gas.
He is a crazy good singer.
Yeah,
Actually, he plays everything.
Yeah, he did an acoustic show there on guitar. Really good.
Plays the drums too.
Fantastic. Khalif. Oh yeah, we did. This is a dancehall tune I'm doing.
Whoa.
No, I probably have to bring this into Ableton so you can hear it.
Yeah. Det er lidt for vidt. tænkte, gud, jeg er med Tanzania. Så bor jeg i Kenya.
Ja.
Boom, 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 yeah,
This is the voice again.
I sing a new song, good vibration, higher meditation, real vibration, yeah.
So yeah, we're just in a small room and on the East Coast Africa, just jamming out. You know, with the most basic setup where you can make amazing music from voice.
They are just there to hurt you, and they are there just to trample on you. We are still rising again, yo. Could I never take my son from me? Could I land the rover? Could I land the rover? With a mask on, put me young, look a big over.
Killer.
Police, them a try chop away. Babylon, them wants to put down low, you see. Boom, 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 yeah. Never take my son from me now. No way. Positive music, good vibration, all a higher meditation.
The voice is unreal, isn't it? It's class, like.
From Ireland, yo. Mama Kenya rising strong. Ooh, yeah.
You can hear everyone in the background. Yeah. And if you could see this, we're all squashed in this little room, like rocking is brilliant, like.
So get up and sing, get up and sing, get up and sing a song with meaning. Cause the world needs my love and understanding, inspiration from the positive thing. So we sing, get up and sing, get up and sing, get up and sing a song with meaning. Cause the world needs my love and understanding,
Inspiration from the positive thing. Yeah. Cool. So that brings us to making music from scratch. Save, don't save. Yeah, but I think that's the joy of kind of, this the technology element to music production. Now you can really work with you can make music for, you don't need to have 20,000 euros loan to invest into building a studio to actually make music. You can make music in a home setup, so easy, and it's opened up music production to just another, so many people. It's wonderful, like. So yeah, so this section, I was thinking, yeah, if let's imagine you're like, you're on a bus, you're on a like 8-hour bus journey, and yeah, you want to make music, and you got your laptop charged up, you got a pair of headphones, and you have Ableton on your computer. So let's say you've not, you're not using, the limitations are, you don't have any plugins. You're just going to use the basic, what's in the program to kind of make music with your headphones. And for me, I really find that as a, it's such, if you've got time to kill, it's just, you can just sit down and make music, and it's there. Like, just make sure that you back it up and save it when you're done. Okay, so building a track from scratch. Okay, so
Bus ride starts now.
the bus rides, yeah, where the bus is left. So sometimes I just kind of start with drums, but it's nice to like get a sample as well, and kind of, you might be, let's say you were listening to, let's look what's on the desktop, find a tune. So we're on the bus. Oh, that's all right, is the recordings?
Yeah.
That's okay. I won't touch anything. So let's say, what have we got? Let's Max Romeo, is that there, the Melt Away? Yeah, Max Romeo, Melt Away. Okay, so we've been listening to this tune, and then we're like, oh yeah, there's just that little part of the tune I really like, and it's inspired you something, so let's... Okay, first I'm gonna put a EQ on it, cut off the bass.
As smoke has been driven, so drive them away. As wax melt before the fire, so shall they melt away. And if a wicked,
Bum 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 bum
a
bum.
wicked pay. And if a righteousness, yes, a righteous pay.
away.
Okay, so we got our tune. We love that tune. We're like, yeah, I want to use something out of that song to kind of to build a track around. So what I'd first do is go to instruments and open simpler, which is just a not easier layout than it's a sampler basically. There's just you've got your sampler and your simpler. It's an easier version of that. So drag your tune in. Now, and we got no MIDI keyboard, so we can use the keys with Ableton. Once that's highlighted up there, you can use your keyboard as to trigger like a MIDI keyboard would. So and this is our start. So let's move this around. And now we're just looking for something to, looking for bass.
As smoke has been driven, cause been driven, so drive them away, 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 away. As walks smell before the fire. So for the fire, fire, for the fire, for the fire. So shall for the fire. So shall it for the fire, for the fire, for the fire, for the fire, fire.
So yeah, we want to use. We found something we want to use, like nice little word. So then let's pick out. There's our tempo. Let's say we want it like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. All right, so we don't need that anymore. And bring the EQ of that over onto the sampler. Now in our sampler we have attack, so that's going to fade the intro to it. Take the bite off the start. So we might go. So we got our metronome. All right, so we got a little jam out on it. Find a piece we like, so we're happy with the end bit. So there's your MIDI clips. Move them in with the arrow a little bit. I'm gonna draw another one in. Check with the click. So I crop the clip. So you're just left with that small piece. Turn that click down a bit. So then I turn off the quantization, the grids, so you can move it. And then you can move your little MIDI notes around with the arrows really nicely once you highlight them, so you can nudge them just gently, That brings to the tree. Crop clip. So we've got a sample that's in time. Okay, then what I'd like to start was the 808 kit. So go to the drum section, drag your 808, Japan's finest.
Could I have the track for the audio out?
Oh yeah, I'll let you go for that.
Yeah, thanks. I just forgot.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, thanks. Sweet, sweet. Okie dokie. So let's say. Now once you've made a clip inside, you're right away. So then your loop is running like a drum machine. So it's essentially same as an analog drum machine. You got your pads, kick, snare, clap, hi-hats, toms, you know, the digital cowbell, famous from the hip hop, and then each. Then these are your macro controls for each. Your controls to change the sounds of each hit in your drum kit. So let's start with. Let's just draw on some kicks. Fire. Yeah. Hi-hats. It might be add a reverb onto the sample, give it a bit of flavor. Decay up, turn the filter on, take the lows off. Right down. Equal to high quality. Size of your room. So clap, maybe nudge it a bit to give a bit of a crunch to it, bit of space in between. And then inside our drum kit, micro kit, solo them as the clap. Click on the clap. Now you got all the controls, your pitch, tune your drums, tune it nice. Low cut, cut the low frequencies off it. Compressor, the glue. So you can turn the volume down, bring the glue up so you've got more of a kind of compressed sound. Test it with your snare command and so to. So yeah, and I love to take like, if you've got like sample packs. So let's say if you, okay, so let's say for example, we've got like, if you've your basic microphone, I know because we're working without the sound cards now. Even in Ableton, okay, let's go. We got no sound card, but we're on the bus, and we want to record something. So, can I do the? Yeah. So if I go to my audio preferences, and I go to input, and I select built-in microphone, it's gonna start. It's just gonna record like if you were talking on Skype or something, you know. So let's say. Okay, I'm gonna shut everything else off. Just make some sounds. Record, you're still on the bus. Check it out. Record, you're still on the bus. Yeah. So let's add that into our drum machine. So let's say we're not using we're not using our cymbal. So let's drag that into our cymbal. So the drum machine is basically, that's just a load of samplers, you know, that's just a bunch of samplers. So you can drag whatever sound you want into that. So now we've dragged what we just recorded into the sampler. Record, you're still on the buzz. Record, you're still on the buzz. Record, you're still on the buzz. Check it out. Oh yeah. Record, you're still on the buzz. So say. Why is that looping? Let's take the loop. So let's say we want to take a sound. Okay. So now if we draw that into the drum machine, you know, we've added in like a real life kind of sound, which is a different texture. And I think what's really nice, if you've got rough sounds, really clean sounds, you know, the mixture of it, you've got that tapestry of sound to create something with the different textures. So, yeah. Let's get a different sound. Drop it into here. Record, you're still on the bus. Check it out. Here we go. Okay, and then a third one with that kind of drip sound at the end. Get that in there. Record, you're still on the bus. Check it out. There we go. So we want that last sound, which was I think there, was it?
Then you just make that button from the drum machine, like then you record the thing, or you just place the sample.
Yeah.
When you mark that button, you know, the pad.
Yeah.
And then if you just make that, just mark the sample, and then it just plays it.
It just plays it, yeah. So you're setting when the sample's gonna start and finish inside here.
Yeah.
Which you'll see with push 2 now. It's fantastic for that. You've got, you know, 2 dials to just shape it in. There's none of this mess, fidgeting with a mouse. You know, you can really kind of just. Okay. The push 2 is amazing for this kind of stuff. And they've the slice thing as well as class. So let's say. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. And you got transpose, you wanna
check it out. Check it out.
change.
Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So we're just experimenting, but you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's kind of nice. That works. And then the Max Romeo sample.
Check it out. 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 Check it.
Okay, so we got our sample, we got our drums. Let's delete that because we don't need it. And let's say we want to add, if we've got a sample pack, then you can add in like actual shakers of, you know, say, look, cumbia, get some cumbia loops. You put in preview. There we go. Just give it a blast.
Check it out. 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 Check it out.
Yeah. You know, so from a sample pack, you might just take something like that. Again, cut the bass off. What are you gonna? And to adjust your timing, there's this area for you to start where you want it. So then with the arrows on the keyboard, you can slightly just nudge your starter point until it's in town, until in time. So let's call that a sample. So we've got a live sample, a sample from a sample pack, built-in drum machines, and then oh, that's from you? Okay, yeah. Okay, gotcha, yes. So, Command and Shift, get a MIDI tracks, get an audio track, Command and T. So yeah, I love pads, I love that kind of, a pad is that synthy kind of harmonic kind of, whoa, that like the effect of when a choir sings together. So I always like to kind of put, I love the sound, throwing some kind of pads in there as well, to fill the kind of background as well with that kind of nice kind of rich harmony, particularly if you're using, quite dark sounds like the 808 kick. It's that boomy kind of urban sound, and you can have a sweet pad in there. So I'm mad for the pads. So let's go to, the search bar is great. You can just type in pad into your instruments, and it's going to give you all your, your different emulations of synthesizers. There's the samplers and synthesizers. So let's go with the analog and tap on it. You can sample it, arrows down. Still on a bus of headphones. You don't need any external, it's a really basic setup, and there's so much creative freedom you can have in that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite nice. Let's try that. So we take out our pad, and again, we can play it with our keyboards. So. And then you got all your dials here. You can fuck around with it. Change the shape of your wave to softer sound. So you've kind of gone to a preset that you kind of like the sound of, and then you just get in there and start messing with it until you come up with something that, yeah? So, let's try it.
Check it out. 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 Check it out.
Open it up. Crop clip. Fold if you want to. It just brings down to whatever notes you've used. Clean it up a little bit, whatever. And let's see. Where was that? Audio effect. Comp. There. So let's say the old compressor trick. Throw the compressor on the track. Side chain it to the kick. So we want the kick to be out of that drum machine. So we can side chain it out, open a MIDI clip. Yeah, so when all your drums are like that, you can just drag them and drop them in to separate them as well, So now the drum's out of here, or the kick drum's out there. And the kick's now separate. Rename a kick. and then we can sidechain the kick to the pad. So choose the kick. So then it ducks down every time the kick comes in, which gives, yeah, so that it's good. It's really good as well for highs as well, because it cuts out whenever there's a sound that you want, it's kind of, because your sound frequency, you've only got, you've only enough space for the bass, for all the different frequencies. So if the bass is taking all of the bass and then there's bass in the pad, it just gets muddy and sounds weird, so it's all the mixing stage, you're just carving out the frequencies to give space for the other frequencies, so everything has a space, so they're not sharing the frequencies. So that sidechain kick's great for that, even for highs as well, and and it's a nice effect as well. You can have that pulsing kind of woo, woo, woo.
You're doing that in the kick track?
I'm doing this on the pad. So you put the compressor on the pad, and on this sound. The sound, yeah, the harmony kind of thing.
Ah, okay.
So I put the then you open this guy up, click sidechain, select. This just has a list of what you've there. Click kick, and then you want to tweak you just want to tweak with this. Your ratio, your attack, how long it takes to kick in, your release, how bring your knee.
Can we hit the difference? You put it all the way down and all the way up, like the attack, hit the
Yeah.
difference.
You can kind of hear the pop, the pop, pop. Where so the attack in any scenario, the attack is to kind of put a nice fade into whatever the sound is at the start. So if it's funny at the start, and if you put an attack on a bass, the bass is it has that rise to it. So if something's ever got a clip at the start, you can kind of get away, fade that out with the fading intro. So then we got so kick. And let's we want to do is keys. So you can save things really nicely in Ableton as well. So I would have made with this guy analog. I would have made say. Well, actually, no. We won't go to any presets. Everything's still on the bus, straight from scratch. So we want to put some reggae keys down. So this is your kind of Ableton synthesizer. So let's make your clip, get your space. Turn this guy on and you can hear what notes you move your. So, Command D, duplicate. So you got the chord. So, highlight the move. This guy up. Yeah, there we go. Might be it's a bit long, so it's a bit sharp. Okay, so what are our options? We got LFO. So you got oscillator 1, oscillator 2, there's some white noise. And let me see. Where's the release and decay? There's your filter. I'm gonna put an EQ on it again to just cut off all the bass frequencies we don't need. Give the bass all it needs. Now on my effects channel, I've already got a reverb and a delay kind of set up, so let's go from scratch. So we want to put some reverb on this. So we add a reverb onto our send channel A. Turn our A up on the channel we wanted. There's our filters on the delay, decay time, how long it is. Pre-delay, but how long it takes to cut in. And pre-delay is how long it takes for the effect to kind of drop in. And then let's say delay. And then we got ping pong delay on our thing. Yeah. Oh, sorry, music. Okay, so then let's say we want a bass. So so far we got sample. There we are. Sample.
Check it out.
There's some reverb on the high drums.
Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
Kick.
Check it out. 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 Check it out.
Auto filter on this.
Check it out. 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 Check it out.
Yeah. And then we got our keys, samples, and bass line. So again, it's great with Ableton. If you want it, you can just type in, say, bass into your search, and it's going to give, and if you're over instruments, and it'll give you a load of bass sounds. All these kind of preset kind of things. So if you just want to make something, you might have a bass line in your head. It's like, oh, quick, I want to put something that's like boom, 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 boom. It's just, instead of actually trying to get a sound first, you can just get things really quickly going, get your idea down, and then move on from there, you know what I mean? And then you can change it to whatever afterwards once it's in MIDI. So yeah, that's a good one for find a bass. It suits you, or, let me see, I've got my own kind of digital bass thing. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, Yeah, the digital bass. Let's try this, okay. Command Shift and T for the MIDI. And double click on your guy. And then pitch it down. So here we go.
Check it out. 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 Check
So we bring our loop section in. That one's a bit slow, so we just highlight it, tap it forward. Yeah. So we got two sections to this, so duplicate it, Command D, and then I'm gonna crop the first one. And then the second one, so let's say. So you can kind of see where it's at. Just adjusting it to make it. So again, you can put. Turn the grid off altogether. You know, nudging all the notes in to just, you know, everything's about. Yeah, and then when you were happy with it, so now we got a bass line, keys, we've got, let's say we're on the bus, we're an hour into the journey, we're like, yeah, that's the bass line, that's the melody, that the song kind of creates itself in a way, you know, you're taking, you know, you're building a rhythm, you're taking a sample that might inspire you, you're kind of tapping away. And then I get a rough, I'd be kind of in a studio I'd be jamming away like that, and then I'd start kind of singing along in my head, you know, I'd be like, oh yeah, you know, something just starts, everything's kind of looping and the go, and then a melody comes into your head. So let me just do a rough, I just balance everything roughly, really quick. Okay, so the clicks are super high. Kick. Maybe pan stuff over. Nice to pan some stuff. Oh, sorry, that's. Okay, so I'm kind of, I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really nice, and it inspires me to sing something. So then I'm like, okay, cool. So let me figure out. Oh yeah, so again, we'll just use the microphone in the laptop because we're still on the bus, and we're just like, yeah, but you have this idea, and if you don't record it, then the way music ideas, they come and then they're gone. So you got to capture it. So that's why I love being able to record into the mic as well. So let's turn the music down super low so it doesn't feed back into the microphone, and we can just hear quietly. So you're still on the bus. You've got it. You can play it through your headphones, but then you can turn the microphone off. So you're recording. You could record someone coughing in front of you on the bus and add that to your drum machine as a you know what I mean. So it's brilliant that way. There's so much, It's so let's say, okay. So I've got the vocal idea. So I'll turn the music on. Whoa. Said as we flow, as we move on a bus from here to there, making sounds, we don't care where we go. Music is a creative thing, just let it flow and to let it go and let it flow. And as we move, as we blend and cross over oceans and sea, we're traveling with the music family. And then in a workshop scenario, making music on the fly, on the go, as we pressing buttons, a user ear and the sound and everything and passing through Ireland to Copenhagen. So we sing songs, we sing every moment, we sing and it's a blessing, music and everything. So that's how we go, that's how we flow to the microphone in the laptop, it will say vocal idea. So then volume back up. Whoa. Yeah. The idea is captured, So that melody that might be gone, you've got.
Won't it catch, like you were playing the song, like in the back, won't it catch like the songs being played when you're listening? Or should that be in the earphones?
Well, yeah, it should be in the earphone, but I mean, just to capture the idea, so not like if you listen to that on it, this is what it sounds like on its own. It's kind of vocal idea. You can hear all the stuff in the background. And so I turn the music down here just to kind of, just so it's a bit louder, just as a reference and capture the idea.
Let it go and let it flow, and as we blend that cross over oceans and sea, traveling with the music family, and then in the workshop scenario, making music on the fly, on the go, as we pressing buttons, a user view, and the sound and everything is passing through Ireland to Copenhagen. So we sing songs, we sing every moment, we sing and it's a blessing, music and everything.
So suddenly, there's the bones of a song, the melody, the drums, the bass line, and then suddenly you might be like, do you know what, the Max Romeo sample, that got you going, but then you're like, it doesn't actually work anymore, so then you scrap that and you're left with vocal idea. You're left with, your drums, your kick, and you might say, actually, that's the wrong key, that needs to be a bit sharper or higher, So then you could, use your transpose, and suddenly you're kind of slightly manipulating songs as you move through it. And you're like, that works, but a bit of reverb, a bit of delay or something. And again, the compressor that we used on the sidechain compression that we used, we can duplicate that and just drag it onto the bass as well. So now, so the bass ducks when the kicks, and they're the ones that are really fighting for frequencies together, the kick drum and the bass. So now you got,
Music is a creative thing, just let it flow and let it go and let it flow.
So now, that's when I get the pen and paper out and I'd be like, all right, cool. Turn off everything except what you want to hear, like maybe the pad. So, because you could be writing a song and then you're gonna forget what's the what was that melody I was thinking or something. But now you've got that reference to kind of keep you in flow. So now it's like, okay, start working on lyrics. So it's like, okay, so I start writing out. So sometimes a song kind of writes itself. It just kind of you just channel it. It just kind of happens. But most of the time it's you like say you're on it, it's like I really want to finish a song before I go. So how do you kind of how do you kind of get it flowing without, get it going without being inspired, So that's how I kind of work. I get the loop like that going and be like, so it's like a little improvisation thing. And you might even be saying words, you're just making sounds, but then suddenly it's like, so then listen back, scenario, so it's like, okay, write down, scenario, buttons, scenario, so we got scenario, everything, buttons, so then it'd be like, okay, scenario, in the flow, that's how it goes. Take it easy, move slow. We take it easy, moving slow. And we'd be like, so yeah, I'd often kind of like, I'd make a list of, if I'm stuck and I just don't have the flow, I'd be like, okay, songs we sing. So it'd be like, okay. And then I'd be like, oh yeah, I love that bit of songs we sing. So I'd be like, okay, let that be your foundation, like that's your base. So I'd be like, songs we sing. So maybe I'd let the music play. Mute the vocal. Songs we sing. Songs we sing. Everything is everything. Songs we sing, everything is everything. Rain, Glen, rain. Cian Finn. And I find when you're writing, it's like, try not to censor yourself, you know what I mean? Just write whatever you're feeling. So like this, now I'm locked into a kind of a rhyming scheme. So I'm like, sing everything, and then you can bend the rules at like Copenhagen, and you can bend the rules of the rhyming scheme, but you have that kind of structure to work in. And then it's like, how do you say it? It's like you got something for the ivy to grow on, you know what I mean? There's that framework there. And it's like the songs we sing, everything is everything. And if you kind of stop me like, oh, everything and everything, someone's already said that before, it's, oh, I don't really like the sound of it. You're stopping that creative flow. So the first writing is you just keep going. You don't break that flow. It's like, everything is everything. As we sing, everything is everything. How you mean? And you just get these you get pages of kind of, a scrap of ideas, and then you're gonna take that down at the end, and then you're like, okay, I've got all the ideas, and you're like, wow, what was that melody again? You know what I mean? You forgot the melody, so then you kind of refresh yourself. So. As we flow, as we move on, us from here to there, making sounds, we don't care where we go. Music is a creative thing, just let it flow on, to let it go and let it flow on. As we move, as we blend and cross over oceans and sea, we're traveling with our music family. And as we move, in the workshop scenario, making music on the fly, on the go, as we pressing buttons, I use a ear and the sound and everything and passing through. Ireland to Copenhagen, so we sing. But does that make sense? That kind of that writing kind of process. Yeah. I don't think there's really enough time to kind of get into to build a song now and kind of go that way. But you can kind of you can get that kind of vibe. It's you've captured. So I'd write. That's kind of how I'd approach kind of writing vocals. if you're not inspired and you're like, I need to make music, I need to get a vocal for this track, you know, I write down, I do an improvised thing, get a rhyming scheme, and then start to carve lyrics into it, and then you just have pages of, you know, you might have a few lines, suddenly you've written like, as we move, as we blend, you know, so-and-so, my friend, blah, 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 till the end, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, do you know what? All of those lyrics aren't really, they're not what I'm looking for, but there's one line out of that, like, as we move, as we blend, you're like, yeah, that has a poetic sound to it, that flows with it. So, you know, then you highlight that, and that's your, you've got one piece of the puzzle, like you were saying with the Tetris thing earlier on. You've your building block where it's like, okay, that's a keeper, and it's like, as we move, as we blend, and then, you know, this is for my old friend, and then suddenly themes kind of just come out of it, and then suddenly you're writing a song about your old friend. It's like, oh, my old friend, and it comes from nowhere, really, you know. It's that channeling of, you're not, you know. So then I'd write the lyrics for the song. Usually it takes quite a while to get it down, and then you keep tweaking it, and you know, you do it, and then you might record a rough version and be like, oh, that line doesn't work at all, it's a bit cheesy, or that's not what I'm trying to say, and you know, you kind of craft it a few times till you've got your final vocal, and then you practice that a few times, and then you record lead vocal. And this is all in Ableton as well. I'd record the lead vocal, the harmonies, you know, 2 or 3 harmonies, and then you're ready for mixing. So you can, you know, and if you're recording a vocal for someone else, they've sent you the finished instrumental track. You know, I just drag that track inside Ableton here into your arrangement view, and then record the vocals, your lead track, and so it's like that. So back to making your own production. We're back on the bus, and we're like, okay, we've got a vocal idea, we've everything, but we want something to listen to on our MP3 player on the phone. You know, we don't want it just, you know, to be in this kind of unaccessible form. You need to open Ableton every time you listen to it. So I'd always kind of, when I get the track like that, I'd make a rough mix. And how I do the rough mix is, so stop all clips, hit record, and now it's recording inside here on the other screen in your arrangement view. So then I might start with the pad. So this is where you're jamming, you're kind of having fun. And every movement you move in it, it's going to record that as well. So it's cool. I mean, if you've got the APC, is that going to work? Oh yeah. Yeah. You know, but again, everything can be done, everything's done on board, like. And kick. Opla. You might want to drop everything in with the whole clip. And you're building up a structure. So everything we do here is being recorded on your arrangement screen. So you're building your little rough setup up. These are just turning the clips off. As we flow, as we move on the bus from here to there, making sounds, we don't care where we go.
Music is a creative thing. Just let it flow and let it.
Bring the pads back in. The Max Romeo sample. Fire. Reverb. And the second bass line. You know, so your different clips, you can actually, you know, your few different types of style. That could be your drum pattern or anything. On the bus and you're just like, you know, people are looking at you funny and you're like, oh yeah, it's cool. And then, so then you come over to your other side of your screen, and it's recorded everything you've done, and then that's where you want to render it out to MP3. So let's say it's the song. Yes, the song starts there, and you know, you listen back. Yeah. So then let's say. You're like, okay, so everything that was done is recorded. I'll just put those again. You know, so all the movements, the automation's recorded. If you want to change the automation as well, it's really good. Because it's like, you know, you can just draw it. Huh? Exactly, yeah. So when I was changing that's the ping pong delay. So that's the effects. So it records whatever you've done. You know, so if I wanted to be like, take the delay out there, then you can just draw it out that way, no?
I'm very sorry.
Oh, not at all.
My baby daughter is very unhappy that I left.
Okay. Well, just lovely to meet you. But just to wrap it up, that's the whole thing. And then you highlight the time that you want to do. You know, highlight from what time you want the song to start and finish. Export, and then you export, and then you call it, you know what I mean, live dub or whatever it is. Press save, and then you've got your track that you can put on your phone and listen to, and then you're done. And you've captured the idea, expressed, and done the things. Nice, and thanks for coming. Yeah.
Like highlighting like the length of the song, could that be on like any track, like the area?
Oh yeah, exactly. So whatever's highlighted in the blue. So let's say, because I kind of pressed recorded before I started there. So there's nothing at the start of the song. Let's say it starts there really. So what I can do is highlight that and just delete the time. If you go to File or Edit. Delete time, you know, and it starts there, and you might be like, oh yeah, that's, you know, the intro's way, you'd be like, you know, the intro's too long, and you're like, okay, so just shorten it, you know, and say there. So then you add locators are brilliant as well, because you can say like, you know, start of the song, type in there. That's locators.
Locators.
Yes, because when you can just when you hold the mouse above it and you click it, it's going to start on. Same with like the DJ mixing things, wherever they are, you click above it, and it plays from there. They're like a play.
All the cue points.
Exactly. Yeah, the cue points are just like this. Yeah.
If you click on it, it starts making it.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. You click on it. You press it. See, it lights up green there.
Yeah, of course. Like when I had to hit the bars.
Yeah. And then you can be like, okay, that's the big drop. So you might be like, that's the drop. And then your track is kind of like, you know, you can separate what parts of the track are. So it makes it much more kind of, yeah, it's a nice way to kind of do it. And then of course you can just go, and you might be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put a riser there, build up there, so, you know, so then you type in riser there, and then you know you're gonna put it, you know, so it's really good. You can kind of plan out your track as well. And so let's say we're fully happy with that, we've, you know, but we're on the bus, we're getting off the bus soon enough, and we want to have something to listen to, so it's not just another one of those, you know, it's deep in there. So yeah, you just highlight it where you want to start. Let's say delay goes on a bit, so like there's the silence. So then you go like, put your locator there. You might say the end. That's when your effects, you know, if it's your reverb or delay, it's going to end. So it's not kind of cutting off. To thing, your space, and then you highlight that to the start. And then you press File, Export, Audio. You got some settings here and all that crack. And then yeah, you export, and then you've got your tune, and it's great because then you can actually listen. You can have like a playlist on your phone. You're listening, and you're like, oh yeah, that tune's really nice, or I really work with that, or that I think that's good. Then it's time to take notes and kind of go, yeah, the snare drum's too loud and the hi-hats don't work. That needs to be changed. But that little bit, you know, so you kind of take your notes, listen to your rough, take your notes, and then go back into it with your notes and just tweak that tune until you're kind of happy with it, and then send it for mastering, bounce it out, or send it to someone to mix it yourself, learn how to mix it, or then, you know, if you're struggling with that, then you can hire someone to mix it for you, and then, you know, you just render all your tracks out separately, send it to a professional studio, and they might have a, you know, beautiful vintage analog equipment, and what you've made on the bus, they can actually run that through all the vintage gear and give it a really nice sound, and then get it mastered, and then suddenly you've got, you know, so that's my process. Yeah. So from the live set to, you know, to the home studio, and I hope the songwriting thing I wasn't too vague with it, because yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you'd nearly need to do the song from start to finish, but it's like, that's the thing, you just need to really be non-judgmental with yourself and just let everything kind of flow out of you, so you're not stopping that creative flow. And then afterwards, you come back with a critical mind at a later stage. So the creative process is like, you know, that's just non-judgmental, free-flowing, you just get it all out there. And then you come back and you start kind of, you know, like you're carving a piece of wood, just shaping it slowly into the final kind of thing. And yeah, but it's
a really difficult way to do it, because you're starting from nothing.
Yes.
Actually, maybe you have some idea before that, or
with the lyrics, is it?
With the lyrics, and actually you have some skills and some, you know what sounds good and like that.
Yes.
You're playing and putting some themes and all that, and then you just making the song the actual thing.
Yeah.
And then you do that from a creativity that should come to you while you're playing, while you're singing.
Yes, yeah.
It's something different that compared to writing some lyrics and then sing it, make some music for that.
Exactly, yeah.
You know,
and
it's a really nice, but a really challenging.
It is and it isn't, because it's like,
in my mind.
yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it's like, I think with this approach, this is really, if you're stuck and you want to, like, I think with Ableton Art or on any instrument or music program, you need to be doing it on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Ideally every day, even if you're not. Yeah. So even if you're just putting like 20 minutes in, so it's great to just open up and just, you might start with a drum machine, and you don't have to. You're just flexing the muscle of what you've learned, how to use that program, and building it from scratch is like, it's great because you're not inspired at the start, but things come, you know, and you might actually, you know, even like say with that vocal, you'd be like, let's say I recorded that and it was just really kind of vocal idea. you might just. What's cool as well is when you're stuck.
Vocal idea. Vocal idea. Whoa. As we flow, as we can sounds we don't care. We're making sounds we don't care. Making sounds we don't care. Making sounds we don't care. Making sounds we don't.
You know, we don't say we like that. Move.
Making sounds we don't care. Making sounds we don't care. Making sounds we don't care. Making sounds we don't care.
So once you learn how to do those little technical things, you know, things happen naturally. You kind of go, and that might be a whole different tune where you're just like, oh yeah, forget about the melody. The melody's too sweet. I want a real heavy, like. You know, you could go completely other direction with that and just have a. But so not having an idea to start with, I think, can be really good as well, because then something else happens, you know, and then you're like, oh wow, you know, it's like the.
You can actually go new ways.
Yeah, that you would.
Thinking too much before you do.
Yeah,
Okay.
the intuition kicks in, and then suddenly it's like a song kind of makes itself, and you're like, wow, like that's really nice, you know what I mean? And you're like, but it's just because you've kind of put yourself in a situation where you're not judging what you're kind of doing. You're just being playful, and then suddenly, you know, there might be loads of stuff, and most of it, if you looked at it with a critical mind, you're like, yeah, I don't like that, or it's not my cup of tea. But then you're like, one thing jumps out, like, and then you're like, oh my God. And then you're really inspired, and then you're in the zone. So you've created a kind of thing, and then you're like, and then you make a track that you're really happy with, based around, like, that loop. You might, like, everything we've done today might be just for, that could be the hook line for this whole instrumental kind of thing. And then when you are inspired, it's brilliant. Like when you're actually inspired to, like, for me, a lot of the time I get melodies in my head, so then I'd have the phone on and I'd be like, you know, pull over the car or the bike or whatever, you know, try to get the phone out quickly before I get, and keep kind of singing it and record the idea into my head, and then I'd play back the phone and I'd try to write lyrics off. It might be just singing a melody and stuff. So I think the important thing is, even if you're not inspired, just dive in it. It's like, you know, just because really, the best things kind of come from, you don't know, they just appear, you know what I mean? So.
Like also like the vocal and the whole like lyrics, universe is also really personal. Like
yes.
How you start, what should be about.
Yes.
Sounds, I think it's there's so many different ways of getting started. So it's such a personal thing what you want to talk about on your like tracks. So
exactly, yeah.
I like the idea of just like starting out for something, because of course you can use it just like as a sound in your beat or something.
Exactly, yeah. And you're getting the creative feeling going, where you're not kind of, because I've found when I really struggled with lyrics is if you kind of go, okay, I want to write a song about, you know, I want to write a song about Copenhagen, about, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, you know, specific kind of topics. Or I want to write a song about this week I've been here. So it's like, you know, so I have all this information, I want to do that, but then you're very restricted to what it can be. You know what I mean? Something like, okay, where do I start? I know I want to say this. And it's really, it's like, when you really care what you're going to write. So suddenly those writing songs when I was writing the 9 years song, it was like I had to get do a lot of research, get the facts, and then try to make a song that was specifically about something, and that there was, you know, the lyrics were factual, and they were, you know, so that took a lot of time to kind of carve into shape, because it's like it's not naturally. It didn't just come naturally. It was like you have an idea and then you want to turn that. So that's quite difficult. And then you're painstakingly trying to find stuff, and you're trying stuff. But when you just when you just kind of write and you don't care what you write, it's just like another force comes through you. You're just kind of like, it's like you're channeling, you know, a kind of the creative energy that's just a human nature thing. So it's not your opinion, it's not what you've learned, it's coming out, and there's a real beautiful, it's something really cool about that, like, you know. And then, you know, suddenly, even it could be a melody that comes from that, and that melody, you'll then use that melody to write the song about Copenhagen that you wanted to do, and you're like, oh yeah, and because that melody's just got something, you know, the hook line of that melody has just got something really satisfying to hear and stuff. So, but I think that's the best. Don't stop the best advice is don't stop the creative. Don't analyze what you're doing until you're editing. Yeah, it's like two different, you know, just flow, the creative flow, and then the actual editor, you know. So yeah, that's the whole thing. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if there's any questions, let us know. And yeah,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
nice one.
It's great.
Brilliant.
So what's the name of this machine?
So this is the Akai APC40, and yeah, this is just a MIDI controller. So I mean, there's a million different MIDI controllers. But this one is nice. I really like it for the dub, for just that you can. And let's say it's really nice if you want to record to do that rough mix that we were doing there. You can actually do it, like you can emulate a desk where you're pulling in the faders, and it's fun to kind of jam on.
Yeah.
But really, all you need is a laptop and a pair of headphones, and I do, you know, Ableton's the DAW that I've always worked in. So I'd recommend Ableton in that sense, that you've got the MIDI keyboard. It's very user friendly, and anything that you can do with, anything you can do with push as well and all that, you can do that with, you know, without a mouse, with just a pair of headphones and the thing, and you can work anywhere. So I think that was the big realization for me. It was like, you don't need and you don't need the synthesizers, and you don't need this whole kind of, you don't need the best studio monitors and a soundproof room. You know, you can just really, get that expression. And if you have a melody in your head, you can whip out the laptop and, you know, put a bass line down in seconds, like, you know what I mean? So it's a great creative tool, like. And
What are you performing?
I did this show, the first part of the workshop, on last Sunday, I think, the Christiania Dub Club, and then I'm doing a different show tomorrow in Moonfiskan, yeah, and it's an acoustic show, so I'll be playing like, a lot of kind of acoustic songs and Irish folk influence stuff, and totally different show, and like in between the tracks, you're kind of, you know, this song was written with this, you know, it's more of a kind of sit down, chill thing, whereas the reggae one is a full-on big speakers, sound system. It's a dance. It's like for dance, and then this is more like, you know, sit down and.
All the links are on the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Alpha says hi, by the way.
Oh, go on, Alpha Stepper. Yeah, and Ben is a brilliant. We did a workshop with Ben in Colombia, and Ben is a master with Ableton. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's a legend. So Ben's really. Yeah, it was really cool actually seeing how Ben works as well, and how different producers work in Ableton. Yeah, Ben's wicked, like, for his live shows. He's got this it's like a wireless MIDI controller. So like he was going into the crowd at one gig, you know what I mean? And dubbing it live, doing like a live dub, like, so brilliant. Yeah. No, he's fantastic producer and gentleman, yeah, lovely guy, so. Yeah, it's great. So the music, and that's the thing. You learn so much from sitting down and see how everyone approaches it differently. So, you know, the more people you talk to, and what are you doing? It's great to have, like, you know, jams and see how people are doing. You can do it in so many different ways. But yeah, that's the trick. Just kind of being playful with it and going for every day, kind of, you know, tapping away every day. You know. Yes. Nice one. Yeah, so thanks for having me, and good luck with the courses, and Rasmus is a great teacher, so you're in good hands. Thanks a million, guys. Nice one.
Wicked.
Wicked.
All right.
Nice one.
I have to ask, how did you actually arrange your tour to Kenya?
The Kenya trip is.
And how long was it? When was it?
It was. I got back 3 weeks ago. I think 3-4 weeks ago. It was my third trip to Kenya.
Okay.
Twice to Nairobi for concerts, and this time was in a place called Distant Relatives. It's an eco lodge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you played your own thing, some shows down there?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I played same as here, a sound system show and an acoustic show. Yeah. I was meant to go back for New Year's, but the flights were like crazy expensive, like 3 times the normal price for that time.
Okay.
But I'm meant to be going back again in the near future.
Okay.
So yeah.
Really nice. But when did you record with Lavosti?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
When I was there, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He just wrote me and sent
Thank
me.
you for today.
Oh, pleasure. Yeah, thanks a million. Thanks for coming.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
He just sent me a messenger movie, about I'm having some students and we are making some reggae music. I've been playing a lot of reggae earlier, and then I was telling everything about reggae and the history, and then I got Lavosti to tell about Rastafari and like that, and he was sending a movie for me.
Brilliant.
14 days ago, something like that.
Crazy.
It's great.
He's a lovely guy, yeah. I was really, really blown away by his singing. It's fantastic.
It is good.
And what's your connection? What's the connection?
It's fun because I was visiting my daughter. She was working in Arusha in Tanzania.
Yes.
A really nice place. And then she was working at a club, a restaurant like that. Well, there was a lot of parties. I was there for 10 days just visiting her. And then they got to know all her friends, and Lavosti came to sing and play and something like that, and then we just mingled. And then I played a little. I played the reggae. Reggae bass.
Okay, great, yeah. He's special, man. Yeah, it's a really great trip.